Alright, it is knife time. Still technically morning coffee here, Jungle Forge, about 11:58. And we are coming from a lovely September 1st, Labor Day morning, almost afternoon here at Jungle Forge. And today we are going to get into the psychosis of the knife world. The pure insanity of the knife community, of this knife realm that we're all involved in, if you are addicted to edge tools, like I am. And what got my brain rethinking about this was this lovely little $31 offering that was sent to me to be checked out the other day. This really got me to thinking. This is a GTK II, GTK2, by the way. And boy, let me tell you, that choil right there, that is a ferro rod striking full. I mean, it's just showers and sparks, just so you know. I spent like the last couple days, 3 days, trying to harm this knife. Like, literally trying to harm this knife. I stabbed it in a refrigerator 50 times. I've thrown it a couple hundred times. I've chopped all kinds of hardwood with it. I've split hardwood with it. I've stuck it into motorcycle helmets. I've stuck it into stuff, and I've pried with it. And its tip is still 100% pointy and sharp as it was when I pulled it out of the box. There's a little differentiation on the edge because I've put it through so much stuff. But I really got to thinking after I was messing with this. I mean, really got to thinking. Because let me just show you where I started off on in this knife journey of my own way. When I was younger and stuff, you pretty much just had to get your knife where your knife come from. But as I started to get into my adulthood life, man, you could make a choice. And this is where I was at. I'm going to cover up my phone number here. This is my business card from my personal knife brand, Junk Knives. And if you see there, it says, our only competition is 1.2 billion Chinese. That's been the theme and motto of what I've made with my hands since I started making knives on a semi-professional basis in 2010. And I've been making knives ever since I was a little boy in my father's garage with his stone wheel grinder. I wasn't even allowed to plug it in. I would spin the wheel and I'd drag a piece of metal on it, and I'd spin the stone wheel and I'd drag a piece of metal on it. And one day he caught me doing that, and he said, if you're going to be making sharp stuff and you want to turn on the grinder, I could come out here with you from time to time and I'll supervise you. So my dad was pretty cool about that. Shogun, the miniseries Shogun, I believe it was on ABC, was what inspired me to make my first knife. And I was about 7 years old. But I'm going to shut the fuck up about that, because y'all ain't here for that. We're here about the insanity that the knife world is in 2025. So, like I said, my thing is our only competition is 1.2 billion Chinese. But really, if this is $31, being a guy, I make all my knives by hand, one at a time, one of a kind. I don't have anything water jetted. Nobody heat treat my knives. You can't just send out a knife and have it heat treated for the type of knife I like. A lot of knives have to be differentially heat treated. They have to be differentially tempered. You know, it's just not a heat up and drop it in a liquid or put it between some plates of metal. You know, this ain't forged in fire, man. This is real life. And so, how am I going to compete with that? I'm not. So, then I get to thinking about, there's all these knife makers out there now. And they're American knife makers. And I'm talking shit. And you know what? I hope some of y'all watch this because you know who you are. And I'm not talking about the big guys, okay? I'm not talking about the big guys like EC. And they're not even that big, but everybody knows an EC, right? This is an EC4, all right? One of my favorites. A very nimble, all-around good work, tough knife. And you know what? It's over $100. You know what? American made, 1095 high carbon steel. In my opinion, these ECs, you know, what you pay for them, you know, you are getting what you're paying for because they are professional heat treated and they are tough. And if you do break one, well, guess what? EC will give you a new one. So you're buying 10, 50, 100 knives, but I've never broke one EC, so there's that. So you're getting what you pay for there. Now, you have all these guys coming out, and this started in 2017. This really started kicking up, where these chubby fuckers, they did a little rip in the military, and they sat there with their cold steels, because that's what most dudes carry, cold steel stuff. You know, honestly, man, the highest, speedest dudes I've ever met, man, didn't know shit about high dollar knives, man. The highest, speedest dude I've ever known, who's jumped out of airplanes and rappelled out of helicopters and been shot at and been blown up at and everything else, he carried a cold steel Recon Tano that he got for $50, dude, at like some PX in Georgia, okay? And he carried that through hella tours and everything else. So, you know, you have that. But you had this whole wave of dudes that came out, you know, and there was like this false Spartification of America where everybody had to have their tactical rifle and their plate carrier. And this started like in like 2010, man. Like everybody had to be a commando. Everybody, man. It was so funny on social media, man. Like every picture you'd see the guy's plate carrier in the background with his boots next to it with the Punisher fucking skull. Yeah, you're gay. And I'm not good gay. You're bad gay. So you have all these guys coming out, and it started, okay, around 2017, 2014 maybe, but we're ramping up really good in 2017. You got these guys making these little bitty knives, and they're charging $250, $350 for them. If you got a Micartas handle on them, they're $250. If they're hand wrapped, some dude took his fucking molester uncle's shoelace and tied it around a piece of steel, ground an edge on it in a bathtub, and he sold it to you for $350, $400 because he's ex-military, knows what he's doing. He opened an MRE once with a Recon Tano. Ridiculous. And respect for those people that have fucking put their nuts on the line and fucking stepped to the Call of Duty and done those things, man. Respect, big respect. But don't try and tell me you know more about making a knife than a dude that spent 30, 40 years learning how to make knives because you drove a fucking Humvee and got paid for it for a few years. Just stop. This could be my most hated video ever made, I know it, but I don't care. You got guys with initials like JW, TD, TK, okay? And most of these guys are fat fucks that couldn't fight their way out of a wet paper bag if somebody held a gun to their fucking head. They just couldn't. They're just chubby-butted, New Balance wearing barbecue boys. And that's what you need to be doing, bro. You live in a gay community. You ain't never gonna find yourself in no trouble. And you know what? You're probably not even a felon, so carry a fucking gun. And if somebody messes with you, double tap their ass. Period. You don't need to be here to talk about knives. Anyway, but if carrying a knife is your main thing, they've really got people, and this isn't an example of that. I don't even know how much this cost. This was a gift. This is old. This is over a decade old. This is a Tops Knives. And, you know, Tops Knives catches a lot of grief nowadays, but there was a time where Tops Knives, you know, they were a primo thing. And, you know, but you're getting a knife this size nowadays, but not even this cool or configured like this. This is actually a usable knife, and you feel it. Like, this has a sheath that mounts onto a weapon. I keep this on my crossbow. in case I need to get free of whatever, okay? But this stays on my crossbow that I have. And you can feel this in the dark. It's indexable. This is a good knife design. This was like 110 bucks, I think, when I got it. It came with a DVD even to show me how to use it. This is Battle Blades designed Wolf Hawk. All right. I don't even know much about this. All I know it's a good little knife. Had it for a long time. But you're paying $250 to $400 for something like this. It's water jet cut. Pick your new steel that you want, N690, M390. Ooh, it's Magna Cut. Ooh, oh, it's brittle? Tight. And, you know, you get a... I understand you millennials, you're starting to hit that midlife thing, you know, and you get to go on there and you get to pick your color, your scale, and you get to pick the color of your powder coat or Cerakote or whatever it is. Woo! And the color of your fasteners is just like that fixie bike you built online when you were gonna go to community college. Dude, you know what? Do yourself a favor. Stop clicking those buttons on those build your blade websites where you're paying $300 for an American-made, water-jetted, all machine-made, if you're lucky, the tubby-butted lard ass that's on here talking about combat knives, ground the edge on it. If you're lucky. You probably had some illegal immigrant grind the edge on there. And let me tell you something. Whether it's a knife this size or a knife this size, when it comes to guys like me, that's about $100 of materials and energy that I'm going to expend to make that knife. And that's me doing it small batch, one knife at a time. Maybe I'll buy 10 sticks of metal here, maybe I'll buy 10 sticks of metal there. But the point is, it takes me close to $100. Something this small, not really. But I'm saying the heat treat, and I don't even talk about time. If I figured time into my knife making, that's why most of my knives have been gifts over the years. Because if I figured my time into that, what I think my time is worth, yeah, that's why most of the people that have knives from me, it was a gift from my heart. Because my time is love. You know what I'm saying? Just like these videos. I'm here being a grumpy bastard because I love you. And I'm trying to help you today. So instead of buying the stupid $300 pick your fucking Cerakote knife, dude, go get that fixie bike again. Get your middle-aged ass on that fixie bike and ride around a park. So if somebody wants to start some funk with you, you can outrun them. Because that's your best bet. Because stitches ain't cheap. And a lawyer ain't cheap if you do gotta fucking hurt somebody. Think about that, man. We live in a world of litigation. You're not gonna get by with some self-defense nowadays. And it is like 6 people with weapons trying to harm you. It takes an extreme case to pull off a case of self-defense nowadays. I'm telling you from personal experience. I've been popped in handcuffs, jumped by 7 dudes, and I got popped in handcuffs. Didn't stay in the handcuffs because a witness came forward. But let me tell you, that's what happens when you defend yourself. All right. So, we got $31. Amazon right now. You ain't breaking this. You ain't breaking this unless you're Joe X. I don't even think the Dutch Bushcraft boys could break this one. Go ahead, stick it in a tree, Mickey and Martin, and stand on it. You ain't breaking this $31 knife. So, there you have it. We got that. We got knives like tops and everything and all that stuff. And like, if that's your thing, that's cool. But something like this should knock all that type of heavy duty water jetted plank blade shit out of the park for you, man. If you want a heavy duty knife that could do all the heavy duty things, well, hey man, 31 bucks. And now we've got these, you know, $275 to on up handmade knives that are powder coated with a different colored G10 scale, in Magna Cut, designed by some dude that literally probably got inspired by the curve of the S on his Swanson's TV dinner that he was putting in a blender so he could drink it faster. $300 for something this size. That's like somebody buying a kilo of Coke and adding 2 fucking kilos of baby laxative to it and then selling it. You're getting pure cut fucking dope. Because something like this, Bark River Knives V44 Bowie, with half a cow's worth of leather sheath, with a huge chunk of A2 steel, these start at about $300. And this is a real fighting knife. You pull this shit on me, you know what's gonna happen? This is gonna be laying on the ground next to your fucking hand. Okay? Okay there, Eduardo? Period. Go fucking stab some more dead pigs. Retards. Period. Don't pay short, fat idiots money to teach you anything about fighting. If you could beat them arm wrestling, they can't teach you nothing, man. Period. Period. I'm saying it. All right? There are dudes, there's videos you could watch on YouTube to learn how to become a lethal individual for free, if that's the path you want to take. But know this, there's no such thing as knife fighting. Okay? All these knife fighting systems, these fighting systems, all that shit, there's no such thing. $300. That's where these start at. Okay? And Bark River, you're not getting away. You're not getting away from the sharp edge of Uncle Junk's tongue today. Because we have this beautiful, lovely $300 example of a Bowie knife. And it's a good nimble. I would jump into the fray with this knife in my hand. Pretty confidently. But then Bark River, we got this. This is my Gunny Scandi grind. It's in 3P and it's antique linen micarta. All right, this is a Bark River Knives, well made, USA made. You know, these aren't each handmade. These are cut out, and they take these and they grind them. This was just under $400, and by the time this got to my house, this was $400 basically because of the shipping and all. This is like $379, $389. Okay, $389. $310. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How? How does this make sense? I make knives. I can make this knife in a couple days. This is gonna take me a week. And I know you guys have systems and machinery and you have assembly lines and you have immigrant workers, but make it make sense. Almost $400, $310. What's wrong? What's wrong with this picture? We need some standardization in the knife world with this. It's insanity to me. Good knives, by the way, Bark River. Every once in a while I hear somebody say, oh, they're quality control. I bought Bark Rivers over the last decade at least, and I've never had a poor one. If you're going to spend $275 and up for an American-made knife, if you truly want to feel this American pride, you think you're gonna fucking feel that American pride when you pick up something that should cost $100? This is a $100 knife, man, and that's pushing it for me, man. You know, I'm old, so when I get sticker shock when I see a lot of the knives nowadays, but And like I said, I'm using this as an example. This size of knife, this knife was way ahead of its time, because this seems to be about the size of knife people want now. I understand. It's reliable. It's a fixed blade. You can squirrel it away on you. I can squirrel away this on me where you wouldn't know. Watch Bill Bagwell, man. He'll teach you about those things. You can conceal a monster knife on you. And if it's your life, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6, right? If you're going to be dropping these hundreds of dollars on knives, do you want something that's under 10 inches, that has a plasticky coating on it, has synthetic? I mean, maybe that's your jam. I get it. But these start at about 300 bucks. At least last time I checked. I think this was about 350. And this has been on the channel before. Most of these have, except for that gunny. This here is a Lon Humphrey gunfighter Bowie. See, Humphrey. This is hand forged, gorgeous and gorgeosity. This is art as a weapon. This is wow. Like I said, this is the knife that made me realize that some knives are just art. And I had knives that would cost way more than this in my collection before I realized this. I paid just over 300 bucks for this not that long ago. These are under 400 bucks and up, you know, depending on your scales and your liners and such. This is a fighting knife. This is what you keep your cousin from humping you in a field when you're picking beans. This is how you get your cousin off you. This isn't a fighting knife. This is a fighting knife. Do you understand? This is worth $300-400. This has time, effort, energy. And this isn't a custom. This is a semi-production knife. Lon, man, he's just good salt to the earth people. And he's not ripping nobody off. Look at that. This is, I mean, come on. These start at around between 300 and 400 bucks. You don't get to choose your powder coat, but he does have a nice handle selection. I love that maple. Storm. Gray storm maple. Something like that. And look at that sheath. That's got a little bit of residue on it from the stuff I use on it, but nice, beautiful. That's $150 sheath. Look at that. If you want that feeling of pride, something American made in your hand, there are guys out there that make beautiful one-off knives. This guy, I don't know, he's taking a break. Someday he's gonna come back, I know it. Lloyd Marshall Knives, LMK Knives. Repulsed by average. Huge respect to Lloyd. This is worth your money. This was an expensive knife, but when you get it in your hand, you know that Lloyd put time and effort and energy into this knife. He fucking took time to sculpt it, and it feels like somebody made it for my hand. And he's never touched my hand, but he's touched my heart. I love you, Lloyd. Differentially treated. There's a helmet on there if you look closely. W2. Purple liners. Black micarta. Had this knife a long time. It means a lot to me. And it was worth every penny. Every penny. Because it was made for me by a wonderful knife craftsman. This is way cooler than picking your color of powder coat for your blade. even if it's a modified sheep's foot Tonto. This, made in America, one of a kind, one off. All right? This is worth your, this is Labor Day. This is worth your labor. This is worth your time. This is not a hot rotted fruit knife in Magna Cut with a G10 scale for $400. This is a foot overall of Crew Forge V, 1/4 inch thick. That's what it started off as. Yeah. This gives you that sense of American pride. This gives you a sense of, hey, I'm safe. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. We need to end the days of these guys. They're just like dope pushers. Shut them down. Shut you guys down. You water jet brigade knife makers, man. I shit on you. I can't stand you. I don't care. I may never sell another knife again. I don't care. There's people I love that I'll make knives for free. Okay? I just like making the motherfuckers. I love making something that I know will keep somebody going down the line another day if they need it. Remember, this ain't a $300 knife. All right? You could get something bitchin', a factory short sword for under $300. Yeah. It's made in the land of sorrow nets. Actually, this is made in Taiwan. And we all know the difference between Chinese and Taiwan knives. It doesn't matter, dude. This American pride, if you're just gonna throw American pride out there to get some asshole to pay $500 for a bench-made folding knife that's plastic and S90V, blow me. There's no such thing as that much American pride. That's ridiculous. There are so many different knives out there. They're American made that are not are not this big and $300. It's time you stop throwing away your money. The biggest threat to America is we are just consumers. That's all we are. We consume, we pay taxes, we follow the rules, we stay in the box, and man, since we do all that, we get to pick the fucking color of powder coat on our reverse Tonto G10 grip Magna Cut everyday carry pocket fixed blade. God damn, hell yeah. No, I'll pay $70 for something like this made by the Ching Chong boys and be 10 times more happy, because I know that this is a real fighting knife, even though there's no such thing as a knife fight. There's situations you get yourself into and you may need to use an edged weapon in that situation, but there's no such thing. There's not going to be, you're not going to magically be walking down an alley someday and some dude pop out of a fucking side door with a scarf to tie around your wrist and you guys can fucking get down like it's West Side Story. Stop fucking jacking off to that fantasy. Ain't gonna happen. 3 low IQ morons are gonna get you cornered in an alley one day. You went to go piss outside by a dumpster because you didn't want to wait for the line at that bar show you were at, and they're gonna be like, damn, that dude has a shiny watch. That's the type of situation you'll find yourself in. And when you find yourself in that situation, do you want something that's sub 10 inches? Look at that. See that clip? Check this out. This is almost a 13-inch knife. Look at this shit. Boop, boop. What knife? What knife? What knife? Oh, you mean that knife? All right. I'm going to stop. This is the longest video I've ever made. It's rambling. It probably doesn't make sense. But the knife world doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. Just know if you ever buy a knife from me, whatever the cost, you get it in your hand, you're going to go, oh shit. Yeah, this was worth it. Thanks, bro. At least I hope so. Remember, that's a $300 knife. Handmade. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Remember, that's a $310 knife. All right, remember that I spent all weekend trying to break, that's a $31 knife. I can just feel, I could feel the Chinese pride radiating off this knife. I just can. Remember, if this is what you think a knife is, you can get these at thrift stores for like 50 cents. That's what this was. Yeah. I hope your wife sees this video, because even if you hate me for hating on your little tubby-butted American knife makers, your wife will love me, because she's sick of you lying about how your friend gave you a new knife when you actually paid $400 for a new knife. All right, yay. Happy Labor Day. Yar. Junkman's gonna shut the fuck up. And we'll be back soon with some new shop stuff that I'm getting into. Have a great day.